How's it going, everyone? This is Andrew Goads for one of the first videos in the series on how to connect more powerfully with women. So this video is about the topic of vulnerability, and specifically how vulnerability and being vulnerable as a man can be one of the most powerful ways to foster connection with people in general, but also women, and how using vulnerability correctly can actually help you achieve more of what you're desiring in relationship to women and other people. So yeah, I just wanted to spend a couple of minutes and talk about the concept. So I think one of the really interesting things as men is there is the perception that it's important to not be vulnerable, to kind of keep ourselves very contained, to kind of make sure we're watching our back and kind of covering our bases, so to speak. But the problem with that is when we become very kind of disconnected from our sense of vulnerability and taking risks, it can be very, very difficult for another person to be able to connect with us. And even if they want to, even if they have a desire to connect with you, if you're too kind of like contracted or being too much like a shell, and being very like having a very tough external facade, let's say, it can be very difficult for people to connect with you, even if they want to, even if they notice something. Let's say, you know, there's a woman who really wants to connect with you and she's attracted to you. If you are not being vulnerable at all, and you're kind of just talking about yourself in a way that's kind of protective, there's a way that you're not really going to let them in. You're not going to be able to let them see who you are. And even if someone wants to connect with you and they see something that's like desirable about who you are, like maybe you're funny or physically attractive, or you know, any other range of things that's like beneficial about who you are, they might either lose interest really quickly or they just won't be able to foster that kind of connection. So a good example of using vulnerability in a way that is beneficial and constructive is to kind of just share a little bit about what you're experiencing or even who you are. So for example, if I see a woman, you know, in a coffee shop or somewhere that I want to talk to, even though it's going to be scary for me to do this, if I go up to her and say, hey, excuse me, I just wanted to come and tell you I think you're really gorgeous or attractive or whatever, and I'm feeling kind of uncomfortable or nervous, but I wanted to come and tell you. You know, first of all, that kind of approach is very powerful because it automatically demonstrates to the person like you mean business and you're interested in them. And it also demonstrates that you're a human being and you have emotion. And it also demonstrates that like you kind of have an open heart to a degree and you're willing to go the extra mile to connect with someone. And even though that's scary and it's possible you could get turned down or rejected, usually chances are pretty good that the response will be good. Or at worst, you know, you're gonna probably have a woman who is flattered and maybe she has a boyfriend or she's not, you know, able to really engage in the connection moving forward. But more often than not, it's gonna go very well. And one of the things that kind of keeps us back from what we want in our relationships with women and people in general is our fear. And so yeah, just using vulnerability as a tool to connect is extremely, extremely powerful. Now, something I'm going to be talking about later on in this series is the concept of being unattached to the outcome. So this pairs in really well with the concept of vulnerability. So let's say, you know, for example, I go up to a woman and I say, hey, I wanted to come and say hi, you're really gorgeous and I'm nervous to come and talk to you. My name's Andrew, how's it going? Or whatever. If I'm also unattached to how the experience goes, then I don't really have anything to lose. And You know, even if I'm uncomfortable or nervous or whatever, it's okay. And if it goes well with her and she says, oh, that's really sweet, like, thank you for coming and saying that, hey, it's going well, blah, blah, blah. Or she says, oh, cool, thanks, but I'm not really, you know, interested. You know, if it goes either way, that's okay. Because you really don't have anything riding on the outcome. And the worst thing that's going to happen is maybe you feel bad for a little bit, but you're still going to be alive. You're still going to be breathing after. And, you know, in this situation, the only person you have to really fear is yourself and the response that you might have to something that she potentially says, be it good or bad. So, yeah, being vulnerable is really, really powerful. So that was one of the first videos, and I just wanted to take the time to say thank you for watching, and I look forward to continue putting out more content, and I will see you guys in the next video. Alright, bye bye, stay classy, bye.